Alright guys, we're back. By the way, this list of maps you see in the waiting screen in the middle, it's the entire map pool. So for the best of ones, it's not that important, but once we get to the best of threes, the loser will be able to pick a map from that list. But for now, we've arrived on Treasure Island, and we have Striker playing the Norse. He's facing off against OptimalACorn playing Egypt, so an interesting matchup. Of course, this map is called Treasure Island because there's an island which cannot see it yet because it hasn't been scouted, but it contains a lot of treasure, namely 2 gold mines and 2 stone mines. So let's see how this works out. It's a best of 1, so anything could happen. And Striker got the higher seed in the tournament, so he's the favorite player. But OptimalACorn can make anything happen. That was a nice scout by Striker, by the way. He just walked in and saw the barracks, knows what to expect. Went for quite an economic opening, making 2 storehouses. He's actually going for a dock first. So he's not scared. I mean, the Egyptian spearmen are quite weak. So actually very nice scout by Optimal. He's immediately scouting the dock. Kasparo in the chat asks, is it only Group A and B? Yes, yesterday was Group A, today is Group B. And from both groups, 2 players advance to the next round, which is next weekend. It's the final stage, where we'll have some longer series to determine who gets the first, second, third and fourth place. Check out the brackets, I posted them in the chat just now. Right, Optimal moving out. Very nice. Striker is he's got a scout here. Scout deals pierce damage, which spearmen don't have armor against. So Striker got 1 fishing boat out already. He's actually going for a barracks, 2 villages and a scout. Looks like he will lose his hunt. He's not going to even try and micro villages back 1 by 1. He's just immediately going to move to the berries. There's already 5 spearmen here. 6th one on the way. It's constant production of spearmen. Looks like Optimal is also going for a duck. Striker getting housed quite hard here. Desperately needs to put up a house, but this house is in a nice position because it will block the pathway. Actually, there may be a path to go to the villagers. We will see. Oh, Striker getting a nice 2 for 1 here. I bet he wishes he would have realized that earlier, that he could have built the berry storehouse on the other side. But overall, nice defense by Striker. Some of the spearmen from Optimal were not in this fight, so I think he still has an advantage. You could still apply some pressure. There's a very low spearman here in the back. Striker can almost go to H2. Actually cancels the villager there to get there faster. Here we have 5 spearmen against the only 3, and there's the scout here as well, so Optimal playing very careful. Actually going for some fishing boats. And I don't think Striker has any idea that this duck is there. Actually he does. I guess the melee scout scouted it. So he's putting 3 villagers on gold. I think he will be going for a longship to defend the water. See, he's actually making more spearmen now. So hopefully we will see a water battle. And the amount of villagers on gold that Striker has makes me think he wants to build a lot of long ships, or at least a few. Optimal's making a lot of spearmen. Is he actually going to H2 yet? He's only now, his temple is almost done, so Striker a lot earlier there. Striker also going for stone. Actually has been for a while, but he only has 110 stone now. He's kind of dividing his eco. He's making a second launch ship already, and the first one is already crossing the map. There's the trireme in queue now, but these two fishing boats, unless Optimal is very good at dodging, I think one of them will die. Could of course repair. Meanwhile, he's moving in with the spearmen. And the Striker is distracted at the water battle. He did kill one of the fishing boats. So ultimately did not do a lot here with the spears. We remove that. Right, here we go. Second launch ship is already here, but there's still the fishing boat to repair, which is very nice. I think Striker is doing his patrol trick. So yesterday he talked about how he thinks if you put a ship on patrol, then it can never be hit. So far it doesn't seem to be working, but I'm not sure if that was the patrol. I think if you come close enough to any ship, you will still be able to hit it. So Optimal taking the ship lead here. He's already got the third trireme out, both players adding another dock. Ooh, and he sniped the villager, very nice. So the second dock actually gets denied. Starting the fishing boats. Gets one of the fishing boats, but this trireme at the front is getting awfully low. Very nicely sniping all the fishing boats, and back at home he still has one fishing boat left. He's making some axemen. But remember that Striker got stone, he's building his town center now. Optimal may first want to secure the water. Very nice Striker scout escaping with 3 HP. Maybe running into town center fire though. Okay. So 4 long ships crossing the map, but there's 5 triremes. So because Striker spent the resources on the town center, he's down a bit in ships. Let's see how it works out for him. So currently the villager count is 34 for Optimal against 29 for Striker, so oh my god. Optimal actually ahead by quite a few villagers. I'm not sure if he killed any. I don't think he did. Except for those fishing boats, of course. Optimal playing very well here. There's 2 very low long ships here. Actually, this one is also very low. Striker's hanging in there. He's microing his heart out. Despite being down in ships, he got the second dock up and he's constantly producing more ships. Actually, there's 3 back there. Should regroup with the other ships he has. Actually going for some farms now. Oh, it looks like Striker wasn't able to retreat with that ship. It's an interesting decision here for Optimal to defend with these 2 ships and attack with these 4, but not sure if it will pay out for him. He lost the fishing ship. Doesn't have the APM to pay attention here. So you build a stable as well. There's a force that's growing for Optimal, where Striker isn't really making any more units. 42 villagers against the 39, so Striker's already ahead in villagers. And he's at 6 longships against the 4 triremes, so this game is going quite well for Striker, and Striker actually feeling comfortable enough to add some fishing ships. Actually made a 3rd dock, I didn't notice this. Looks like only now Optimal is building his town center. All of this going pretty well for Striker. Looks like Optimal really wants to kill these 2 low longships. Striker is preventing him from doing so. Oh no. It looks like that does it for Optimal on the water. Striker should probably cancel these other longships. Going for a triple stable now. Yeah, against Egypt is a ballsy decision. Actually got pierce damage armory already for the water battle. They also want to cancel that. The nice thing about the North civilization is that you don't need to build a merchant transport. You can just put your villagers on the longship and go to the treasure island. Look at all the treasure. Striker actually going H3, so his plan is probably just to go for lots of raiders, but also lots of horsemen. So the camels, of course, counter cavalry, but the horsemen do counter cavalry as well. So there is this raid by Optimal, but the base of Striker is very compact. I think he could kill a house maybe. 49 villagers for Optimal, we can see 64 for Striker, so Striker really pulling ahead here. So already got 6 fishing boats. Optimal is going for a push, and even though the population is quite equal, actually Optimal is ahead by a bit. Remember that lots of the population of Striker is in those boats. What is the army for Striker looking like right now? He only has a few infantry units. And that's 14 camels. There are horsemen now. Striker actually went for a 4th dock, a 5th dock even. Using the patrol very nicely. But can he live on the land? He's master of sea, but...
Ahura Master bless you.
Welcome back, Processor. Good to see you on the official stream as well. Optimal going in very deep into the base, so he's in the double town center fire. He has units all over the map, but they are kind of spread. I think he's kind of giving Striker some breathing room maybe? Striker keeping up in the population, but then again Optimal has so many units. The advantage of this split attack is that he's making all these villagers garrison. The downside is that Striker is able to hold on with a smaller force. So many idle villagers right now. 28 villagers here. I think overall Optimal should have been a bit more careful with his army and not split it up as much, because look at the population now. It's down by 35. 73 villagers against the 61. This is a pretty decently sized army for Striker already. Oh, and this fort maybe got denied. Very nice raiding by Optimal. He sees the fort. Looks like we'll have a battle for this fort. Let's see, is Optimal going to H3 or something? Not really. So this game is actually starting to look better and better for Striker. He did a very nice job of making lots of fishing boats after winning the water. Look at all those fishing boats. Would like to see some merchant transports for the gold as well. And all these engagements are going quite well for Striker. The ace pointing out in the chat that Striker has been getting armory upgrades all this time. That's a good point. I don't think Optimal has an armory as well. There's the H3 building the Temple of Set. But Optimal falling a bit behind in armory. He's killing this one wood storehouse, but I don't think he can get the damage here that he wants. The space building by Striker is really making it difficult for all these camels. And oh no, there's the group of archers as well. So only 6 camels survive, but they're all very damaged. And now Striker has a much bigger army. Look at this, we have 9 X-Men. The Priestess of Ra is being pulled to fight. Okay, there's some more camels actually. So Optimal is doing a nice job raiding with his camels. Doing some damage. Gets a few villager kills there as well. Looks like he will run the same way as he did before. So he's getting Camel Champion right now. And of course these horsemen only have 9 speed. You can see 11 speed for the camels, so even though they get caught a few times, they are faster and can kind of run around. But I do feel that Optimal is... these raids aren't really working out in his favor, he's just mainly losing the camels. Villager count is 75 for Striker against the 79 of Optimal. So actually, I think Striker also stopped building villagers. He is going for the merchant transports now, very nice. Gonna get some gold from the sea. Kind of an awkward fight going on here in the middle. But, Optimal is just looking to... His plan is to raid constantly and to keep Striker on the back foot. But I think Striker has enough. He's just going to push in with these bowmen. It's kind of scary as they're unprotected. I think they may have still been on attack move. Actually, probably not, because they were spreading their fire. And we have a Seer on the map. Let's see if he does the Raven special ability. But these bowmen are kind of exposed, and there are Camel Champion coming back. Shit, it looks like Optimal built a lot more stables. There we have the Raven. Scouting out the base. Actually the Ravens, they got buffed a lot in the last patch. Or not the last patch, but a few patches ago. They now last a lot longer and they have a bit more line of sight. But this fight actually looks pretty good for Optimal. He has the Camel Champion hitting the bowman. Striker has a lot of population. Does he still have all those boats? Yeah, he still has quite a few. Ah, it's only 3. But Optimal actually pulling ahead in the population. I think it may be a good idea to add some spearmen for Striker. North spearmen, very tanky. And I think using only the horsemen to deal with the camels may not be enough. Because Optimal is going for a lot of camels. So very nice place by Optimal. Let's see if either player has a market yet. I think at this point the game, the gold mines that are safe are running out a bit in you. Yeah, so Optimal already has to move out to this middle gold mine. He's actually Stealing this gold from Striker's side of the map, very nice. Actually, I think Striker can scout that. Yeah, Striker is well aware that this is going on. Oh, and there are the markets, but there's also a fortress going up. And there's a raid. So finally some counter pressure by Striker. It's only a handful of camels to defend here. There are 2 H3 town centers though. Optimal's actually making a lot more villagers. They're still both equal at 85 villagers. So this gold gathering gets denied. But Optimal is moving in the middle. And I like this transition of Striker going for some raiders. Welcome to the stream. So a few raider champion to deal with the chariots. Oh, and here comes the flank with the horsemen. And Optimal's army is a bit caught. Don't think he wants to stay here. Actually, that's a lot of camels on the front line. But I don't know, if your chariot archers are getting hit by cav, it's never a good sign. So very nice cleanup here by Striker. Actually, this is a very small market line by Optimal. He doesn't have all his town centers are here. I think he would have been better off putting his markets on this side. Striker is just sending his horsemen everywhere. He has lots of horsemen. I don't think I've ever seen this many horsemen in H3. This fortress will it's not even halfway done. We'll check back there in a few minutes, I guess. This is a nice cleanup by Optimal. Just for a lot of horsemen. There's horsemen everywhere. And, Optimal did lose a bunch of villagers. He's down to 72 now. I think for both players I would have liked to see some walls to defend their base a bit more. Wall of these choke points. Because currently there's just raiding everywhere. I'm gonna have to increase my casting APM to keep up with this. So this was cleaned up. Yeah, so camels for counter raids are of course great. Optimal getting the last H3 armory upgrades, so is Striker, so I think they're about equal in armory. Striker's currently very ahead in the score, but I think that's mainly because he has 5,000 wood in the bank. And actually there are the walls. Maybe if I say they should build something else, they also do it. Actually, he's not adding spearmen, so I guess Striker's not listening to the stream. He is holding on here, but the camel count is quite high. Actually, Optimal is trying to steal the gold over here. The question is, will Optimal have enough gold? This goldman in the front ran out. This got denied. His market line is getting 17 gold. And no gold means no units, means you can't win the game. For now he has a decently sized army, 36 camels. Okay, he did rebuild the markets, okay, so this soon will drop off a bit more than the 17. Oh, he's actually rallied them to the starting town center. So keep a close eye on the gold count of Optimal. He's currently not gathering from any mine, so he has to rely on the markets. Meanwhile, Striker is... he has the water. These ships are getting 200. So there's a few more villagers. This fortress finally got up. We're actually killing the market, so actually maybe doing Optimal a favor here. Let's see how he responds to this. He has his own siege tower now, which on his own may be able to kill the fortress. And Optimal actually doing a lot of damage. 74 villagers to the 73, so dead even there on the villager count. There are some camels here to deal with these farbuators. And actually, if Optimal built some more siege towers, he could deny these ducks and kill the water economy a bit for Striker. Ooh, looks like these camels are walled in. Actually, seems to be a recon woodline over here, so they can pass. Right, so we have 46, 48, 23 gold, so not the best market line. I think if you would just put them on this town center, it would be a lot better. Anyway, he's hanging in there. His score is dipping, but again, it's mainly because Striker is just floating so many resources. It's mainly camel against horseman. I like that there's a few spearmen as well. But I don't think Optimal should be fighting under this fort. There's nothing he wants to defend here. Striker has 17 horsemen and there's only 12 camels, so I think Striker cleans this up. And can Optimal make some more units? He's transitioning to spearmen. He doesn't have the champion upgrade for them. But this is looking very bad. He does have a lot of caravans at this point. And the Striker is not really doing the best job in remaking his units. There he goes. He's queuing up 5 bowmen from each of his archery ranges, so he's instantly maxed once these are produced. But this does give Optimal some breathing room to quickly make some units, because where are his units? I don't think these camels are enough. He needs to send the spearmen over there, but oh my god, there's more horsemen coming in. And they're killing the caravans. Some chariot archers popping out now. There's actually 8 chariot archers. These cost a lot of gold, man. 80 gold per chariot archer. Needs to kite with them a little bit. It's all very costly for Optimal here, bleeding out units. And here come the bowmen. Sending them to the other side, very nice. Actually, Striker is going to H4. But we won't see that happen because Optimal GG's out. So very well played by both players. So let me update our schedule. So this means that OptimalACorn will go against Warlock Ant in a bit. And Striker advances and will play the winner of the next match, which is Zertan against Kaban. Alright, let's take a look at these stats. So quite equal in the villager count. There was a portion of the game where Striker was ahead by quite a lot. I think after he won the water, he did such a nice job making all these fishing boats. Look at this massive water economy. That's a very nice job by him. See how much each player gathered. So yeah, Striker gathering 13,000 more. Getting a few more techs. And overall, it's a big difference in stats here. Striker killing a lot more units. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of the game, Optimal was kind of suiciding his units or trying to get some villager kills. I mean, it did work a little bit, but overall Striker was able to hold on. He built his base very compactly, which really helped against the camel raids. Yeah, here we can see that overall Striker is getting better trades. Optimal just losing some units here, losing a lot of units here, and well, Striker is actually not losing any at all. I think this is the water battle actually. GG. Right, let me arrange the next game.